Robert Olimene, a sports journalist, joins us. And like Wolverhampton Wanderers in the English Premier League, who are doomed for relegation, except a miracle happens, do you think the same fate will befall legendary club Kano Pillars? Robert, if you can hear me. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I can hear you. Good afternoon to you. For Kano Pillars, I think their fate is as sealed as Wolverhampton Wanderers. There is no way they can escape the drop. Their point accumulation per game is not meeting up to the mathematics if you actually begin to put it together, and that puts them at a huge disadvantage. For a team with less than 15 points, with about 17 games played so far, and of course they have 2 more games to play before the end of this year, it doesn't bode well for the team, and they really need to win all their own games and hopefully maybe pick up a couple of points on the road next, the second half of the season, for them to be sure that they can they can safely navigate themselves out of the relegation battle right now. But it is looking very, very unlikely that they will escape the drop.
Robert, Kano Pillars are on 13 points, 7 points behind the club on the 13th position on the log. It's just about 2 games and 1 draw. Don't you think this is achievable? I mean, it's the NPFL. Anything is possible.
Well, you're putting it lightly, saying that it is just 2 wins and a draw. Yeah. It is not that simple. It is not that simple. Look at Plateau United's situation. At a point in time, they were languishing in the relegation zone, and they had 3 consecutive home games to play. That was in the course of last week. And out of possible 9 points that on paper they should have been able to get in and get themselves out of the relegation battle, you can see they are stuck in 16th position. And that is because out of the possible 9 points they could have gotten, they only got 4 points. They won a game, they lost a game against Rivers United, and they drew yesterday against Nasarawa United. So that point haul, 4 out of 9, could possibly turn back to bite them and, of course, make things a little bit complicated for them. They are the only team in the NPFL so far this season, in the first stanza of the NPFL, or the first half as we call it, yet to pick a single point away from home. So that tells you how tough the league is. So it is not just 2 games and a draw. It might not come that easy for Kano Pillars.
Indeed. But when you look at Kano Pillars at the bottom of the table, you're saying what is really happening at this time, because they got some goals from the Nigeria Premier Football League board, and you know all that has happened. The fact that their general manager at the moment is Super Eagles former captain, and a legend of the game, and you're wondering what's really happening. Do we have this legend to just take a down slope for the clubs that they are managing? You're wondering what the problem is. But let's talk about those who picked up crucial wins in the weekend. Shooting Stars, they began the season with a little bit of brouhaha here and there, but right now it seems they're catching momentum and they're staying stable. Abia Warriors gets my attention. Imama Packable boys, they're doing wonderfully well. And it seems they're not scared. They're not scared of anyone. They're not scared of the Rivers United, the Enyimbas. They're not even scared of Ikorodu City. They're just moving on a fast lane, and they're moving on a lone lane. That's what I would call it. They don't care about anybody. What do you say about Abia Warriors and their run this season?
For Abia Warriors, I think this season has been an exceptional run for them.
Yeah.
Last season, they were able to finish 3rd on the log, and of course, they played continental football as it is. Continental football, the first of its kind for the team, they didn't do so well. But this season, it looks like they've picked up some valuable lessons from their campaign, and of course, they are putting it into good use going forward. How they finish at the end of the season, nobody knows for now. And of course, we might see things rapidly change, talking about the top 5, the top 6, the top 7 at the end of the season. But so far, so good. The result yesterday was against one of the newly promoted teams.
Yes.
And what would you expect of a team that has years of NPFL experience under his belt, you definitely expect that they would pick that win or at least a draw from that encounter. Sorry. And of course, quickly talking about the Shooting Stars of Ibadan, their win against Barau FC. Sincerely, I wasn't surprised at all because I just had that feeling that the Oluyole Warriors would get a positive result from the game. Winning the game, I didn't see that coming, but I knew that Shooting Stars, they will not lose that game. I was certain they will not lose that game yesterday. And of course, the win was a good one for the team, a big one for the team. And of course, I put them, should I say, in the better half or on the better half of the table. And of course, in the big conversation as touching, is this the year Shooting Stars plays continental football? Is this the year they get to win the NPFL football? I think all this conversation we can reserve for the second half of the season.
Right. I like the way you put it there, reserved for the second half of the season, because there was a time in the NPFL when we had MFM at the top of the log, and the same questions were asked. Is this the year MFM will win the title? And we know what happened afterwards. They fell like a pack of cards. They were beaten black, blue, yellow, all colors of the rainbow. They were nowhere to be found on the NPFL. And we're asking ourselves the same question this time around. So I think we should
they were
hold
found
on
the mountain.
They fell from the mountain. Now, Remo Stars, champions of the 2024-2025 season, nowhere to be found. Again, it begs the question, in as much as we see different winners of the NPFL every season, it doesn't tell well on the continent because there's no consistency when we go out there to represent Nigeria on the continent. We'll be beaten and we'll come back home, go back to the same drawing board, and it's still the same results year in, year out.
I think let me speak about this generally. I think for NPFL teams, they are most of the time a victim of their own success or the victim of their own successes. The reason is, like you said, that continuity building on the strength of the team is something that we hardly see in the NPFL. I think very few teams. And if I'm saying few, I most likely will just single out Rivers United. Looks like they are the only team that builds better by the seasons. And of course, we see what they do in the league. And yesterday I was running through some numbers and I found out that Rivers United have got the best away record in the league. And they've considered as little as 5 to 7 goals away from home. Little as 5 to 7 goals away from home. So it just tells you how solid the team is. But I think generally, this is something that all NPFL teams really need to look at, most especially those who are the strongest or the better, the teams who are in better positions beginning and, of course, till the end of the season. We have to look at ways to be consistent. We have to look at ways to see beyond the challenges of the NPFL and, of course, put ourselves on that pedestal where we can rub shoulders and challenge the strong teams or the big boys of the continent. Yes, it might not be something we'll achieve maybe in the next 2-3 years, but we have to look at the long-term vision or the long-term goal of ensuring that we leave our footprint on the continent. And it is quite disheartening that for a league, for the NPFL that is about 45 plus years old, and 45 plus years old, that is just me putting it lightly. The NPFL is about 50 plus years old. And of course, we have only just one team to have won the CAF Champions League. It doesn't speak well of a league with that amount of experience. And of course, it is taking us another journey of just like how the Israelites had to navigate their way to Canaan over 20 plus years to get another team to win the CAF Champions League for us. It doesn't look so well. And of course, these are the things that we need to take them away from just writing big English, big grammars, and putting them on papers to actually implementing them to ensure that our teams are strong, our teams are viable, and of course, we can bring much excitement and accomplishment in the league aside, like I always say, the big English or the big grammars that we throw around.
All right, we look forward to more exciting times in the Nigeria Premier Football League. I'll say thank you very much, Robert, and hopefully sometime soon, Nigeria will be on the map on the continent when it comes to the CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much for having me.